Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I want to talk to you about swatching. So, swatching is when you're just taking samples of the different supplies you have and kind of keeping them together. So, you have a record of your colors and your textures, things like that. You can swatch a huge number of things. And I recently changed up my swatching because of this beautiful stamp set from By the Well for God. This stamp set is still available, and it has been a game changer for me because not only does it provide you an awesome template to be able to swatch all of your supplies, but there's some options here to practice some color blending or some color combos, and that's a little bit of what we're going to talk about today. So let me explain how I've worked through some of my supplies. I do my stamping onto watercolor paper. So I've created a bunch of these just using this set, stamped it out with VersaFine Onyx black ink, trim them all out. I keep a little pot of all of the different ones, all my blank ones on my desk. And then I've worked my way through a lot of my supplies. So you can see these are my distress oxides, kept all together in here, and I like that it is a stamped image instead of watercolored on, because that's what I'm doing with my distress oxides. And then these are my oxide sprays, and I was able, since I have all of the distress oxides, I was able to space out my sprays knowing that I'll be collecting more. My sprays, I actually used the spray on a separate sheet of paper and stamped this again. So I stamped it twice and then trimmed it out so it would be nice and neat. So here are my sprays all organized so I can see the colors. Then I have my shimmer sprays, same technique, sprayed it on a separate sheet of paper and then trimmed that out. Neocolor 2, I did some fading. So I would color really hard at the top and then come back with water so that I could bring it down towards the bottom so you can see kind of a gradation of the colors available. More Neocolors, some gloss sprays from Dina Wakley. These are acrylic markers. This is my Arteza set of acrylic markers. Again, just coloring in. I just love how neat and organized, how it's easy to label. And then these are acrylograph pens that I have as well. So you can see I've been working my way through my stash, but I wanted to show you something cool about this set, and that would be the combining of colors. So I'm going to start out by doing some simple swatching with Daniel Smith watercolors, and then I'm going to pull in some distress oxides and show you how I'm going to do some combining, some color blending that I can use as inspiration when I'm starting some different projects. All right, let's go. I'm going to begin by making some simple color swatches of Daniel Smith watercolors. I actually have this sample sheet, which is awesome for getting to try out a lot of the different watercolors from Daniel Smith. But we also get something similar to this in our By the Well for God devotionals each month as far as these color samples. And so I wanted to just see what the colors looked like swatched out. So here's what I did. Stamped these out in advance. Then I will just simply label each one with Daniel Smith and then write the color. I like to do it in advance just so that I don't get my hands into wet paint or anything like that or get the colors mixed up. All right, so all I have to do to swatch them out is activate the watercolor over here, make sure it's getting on my brush, and then bring it over. You can see I'm going to get a pretty good sample. For me, I want to fill up this whole box in here. And again, stamping on watercolor paper is great because it's going to hold the color really nicely. And I will probably come back and add a second layer to that. So I'm going to keep going through these. And it's so fun to see the different colors kind of come out. And I like seeing the variations that you can get with watercolor. And it's nice to be able to see that in your particular swatch card. These swatch cards fit perfectly in a little 2x2 pocket protector, I actually just buy ones that are intended for coins on Amazon and just keep them in a regular 3-ring binder that you can decorate. There's a lot of options out there for how you want to store these swatches. I've seen people keep them on rings before, like binder rings, so they can carry them with them in their purse to a store, something like that, so that you can see what colors you have, for instance, of Distress Oxide, so you don't double purchase. I'll do my last one, last couple over here. And then what I'm going to do, because I really like to see a saturated color, is go back over and add a little bit more gradation with these colors. This is such a fabulous way, just to get to know your supplies, knowing what colors you have, playing with your supplies and by swatching them really helps you learn how your supplies work, and having the swatches ready to go allows you to kind of play with some different color combinations that you might not have normally thought of. Again, just adding some darker bits in here so I can see how saturated or how dark I can get some of these colors. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right, so those are swatched out. All I have to do is let them dry, and then I will be able to put them in my swatch book. I'll continue through the whole sheet, and then I'll have swatches of all of the Daniel Smith watercolors. All right, now let me share with you why this stamp set has been a game changer, because it has pieces that allow you to stamp multiple colors onto one swatch card, and that way you can create a set of blends or combinations that inspire you. There's all different ways to do this. You could keep it in the same family, put warm colors with warm colors and cool colors with cool colors, and kind of see the gradation. You can have some favorite color combinations, maybe for spring or fall, by the season, or for a holiday. There are so many possibilities. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's start over here. Let's do some basic kind of primary colors, red, yellow, blue. I'm going to take my stamp set and I'll just take the first little piece. There's some different ways that you can do this. We'll start here, and I'm going to start with the red, and I'll just stamp. Make sure it's covered really well. And then I'm going to stamp it right down in here. So that'll be layer 1. I'll just clean this off, and then I'll pull in another set. Now you could use the same one over and over. I just like getting to use the different ones because you get a different brush look on each one. Then we'll go to Fossilized Amber. Adding that in. And last but not least, we'll add in some Mermaid Lagoon. Let me pull this one up. And stamping that down. So now I have this little swatch that I can come back to, kind of keep it in an inspiration book. Those are fun colors to combine, and because they overlapped, you can also see what the blend is. So I would label these Festive Berries, Fossilized Amber, and Mermaid Lagoon. Now they're labeled, ready to keep, And it's so fun. You can see how you can combine a lot of different colors and come up with these cards. Maybe you are putting together swatches for a specific project, so you want to see how the colors combine, and you could keep these in with your materials for that project. I just love it. I love the concept of it. Now with the stamp set though, there are some different ways you could do it. Let's try it with these three. So this is obviously some 3 greens that are all in the same family. I'll pull out the same little swatch card that's already been put together, clear this out, and we have these triangle pieces that fit together really nicely. So let's give them a try. Let's start with old paper. Over here in the corner, just inking it up very thoroughly, stamping down. I probably could have lined that up better, but that's okay. And then coming back with the triangle, and we'll do bundled sage. Sometimes it just really helps to see the colors together on paper, so you can see how they play next to each other, what they look like. It's just a fun way to see your colors, experience them in a different way. And doing a project like this, oops, I've already done that one. Let's do this. Doing a project like this can really help if you're in a creative rut. Having it done in advance helps, and B, working through your colors, experiencing them in some different ways can also really help inspire you. There's also a third option if you really want to see a stamped kind of image on here. There's some patterns that you can do the same triangle feel, but with a pattern. So I'll try another combo right here, adding in those little hearts. So fun just to see the combinations, just to play with your stamps and your inks and see what you have. A great way, especially if you've picked up new inks, to get used to the colors, to practice some combining. Adding in some pink, some picked raspberry, and last but not least, we will add in some mustard seed, one of my favorites. Pulling this in. So like I said, it's a fun way to practice with combos, especially with distress oxides, but also with any of the other art brands or any of the other mediums like Neocolors, things like that, that you want to see the color combinations. Let me know down below if you have a favorite combination, especially for distressed oxides, but any of your other ones, because I am going to be working on making some of these color combos as a fun inspiration piece in my swatch book. So I'll be excited to try out what your favorite combos are. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. A big shout out to my YouTube members. Thank you so much for all of your support of this channel. If you're interested in finding out more about YouTube membership, click that join button and you can find out what the exclusive perks are for some of my members. I will definitely link all of these supplies down below, including this awesome stamp set and the little pocket pages that I use for my swatches. I hope that you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.